ANC National Working Committee and the party's KwaZulu-Natal leadership are meeting in Boksburg in Ekurhuleni. The engagement comes in the wake of a significant electoral loss during the May 29 polls. Previously, some senior party members suggested that the KwaZulu-Natal leadership needed to be overhauled to counter the influence of the Jacob Zuma-led MK party, which has emerged as a rival to the ANC. Samkele Maseko is on the story for us and joins us now live. Samkele, very good afternoon to you. As you give us a sense of what is dominating the agenda there, perhaps give us a sense of what you know about this possible disbandment or overhaul of at least the KwaZulu-Natal PEC. In fact, we do understand, and we heard earlier in your reports, that there have been several reports that were prepared for this NWC on the future of, in fact, provincial executive committees. What can you tell us this afternoon?
Well, Unati, what we do know is that the provincial secretary of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, Ekurhuleni, he presented the very same report he presented to the PEC's meeting with the president of the ANC, Ramaphosa, which the president of the ANC rejected that particular report. He repeated the very same report, added a few more points to it, but he has essentially reported and given the very same report to the PEC, to the NWC of the ANC. We are told that the meeting is very tense inside and that the president of the ANC, Ramaphosa, did not form part of this NWC meeting with the PEC of KwaZulu-Natal. After the officials meeting of the party, he did leave this particular venue of Birchwood Hotel. The meeting was thus then opened by the Deputy President of the African National Congress, Paul Mashatile, with the PEC of KwaZulu-Natal. Then after, Ekurhuleni took to the podium to deliver a report from the PEC. We are told they are heavily divided inside. It is very tense. There are those in the PEC who are actively lobbying for the disbandment of the structure that they are members of in KwaZulu-Natal, saying that it is a disappointment, it is an embarrassment, it is not functioning properly.
Samkele, of course, this comes at a very sensitive time for the ANC. It's been very criticized for its performance in the May elections. It's also, of course, been the relationship, at least with its alliance partners, also criticizing the GNU. I mean, what are just the implications of a disbandment or an overhaul of the KZN PEC, particularly as you look at what other political parties are focusing on now, which is the local government elections of 2016?
No different. Smooth. Particularly post the conceptualization and the constitution of this government of national unity are in disarray. You look at the battles within the economic freedom fighters, you look at the chopping and changing of leadership within the MK party, you look at the differences within the Democratic Alliance between John Steenhuisen and Helen Zille. Most political parties are in turmoil and fighting amongst themselves, and the ANC is no exception, particularly noting that Gauteng, the Provincial Executive Committee in Gauteng, Provincial Executive Committee of KwaZulu-Natal are fighting for their lives. But you do know that with the divisions within these structures, the utterances of late of provincial leaders, you just look at the address of Ekurhuleni at the General Kizenga Mpanza region, you look at the comments of ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa at the PEC meeting of KwaZulu-Natal, rubbishing that report of the PEC, stating it as an embarrassment, that it must be collected from all PEC members and must ultimately never be released or spoken about again in public. Ekurhuleni went against that particular posture, but there are those whom are seeing the disbandment of KwaZulu-Natal as an alignment towards the 2027 National Conference of the ANC without thinking ahead of the 2026 local government elections. Those are the factional views that are there within parties, and you've got ANC NEC members who are ultimately saying you are doomed if you do, doomed if you don't disband the province of KwaZulu-Natal, essentially saying that you are caught between a rock and a hard place on what to do with the province of KwaZulu-Natal, particularly knowing how the MK party has infiltrated the leadership of the African National Congress.
Just very quickly, Samkele, before I let you go, you mentioned just briefly the ANC, of course, PEC in Gauteng. What do we know there about the future of the PEC in Gauteng? What are the murmurings or the rumblings, if I may?
Who are and will ultimately may face a disbandment, particularly on their posture on the government of national unity. The latest utterances of the provincial leaders of Gauteng, they will also be coming to be addressed by the ANC's NWC. That will be tomorrow. They will be at this very venue as well to engage with the National Working Committee of the African National Congress. Their meeting was postponed. It was supposed to be today, but it was moved to tomorrow because they do have a legislature sitting. They are also under fire, particularly with the perceived battle that is there between the Secretary General of the ANC, Fikile Mbalula, and Panyaza Lusufi, the provincial chairperson of the ANC. They've come out to try and allay any fears, any murmurs of a battle between the two of them, but it is seemingly there, and the ANC nationally does see a problem with the leadership of Gauteng, particularly with how the Democratic Alliance ended up pulling out of an arrangement of working with the ANC in Gauteng after the demands that were put forth by the leadership of the Democratic Alliance, and ultimately the ANC in the province took a decision not to work with the Democratic Alliance. But I'm seeing a PEC member of the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, also a member of the legislature, Sizopilo Ntwentle Mkhize. How's the meeting there, Ms. Mkhize?
The meeting is progressive.
How is it progressive? What's happening? What are you deliberating on?
We're deliberating on everything ANC.
Thank you very much. Are you going to be disbanded?
We don't know.
That is Sizopilo Ntwentle Mkhize essentially saying they don't know whether they are going to be disbanded or not, but she is saying that the meeting is continuing. They are now essentially deliberating on the report that was tabled by their provincial secretary, Beginkosi Mtolo.